Hello, this is just one of the things probably a little bit more off cuff, something else like that. Um, Not really sure I'd be able to say it totally or anything, but just keep it short and sweet. I understand there's a lot of cultures in the United States and everything, and I do have another one that I'm going to try and do here probably tonight or somewhere else, but I really do look at that the Constitution is something that is the rights of a soul, everything else. People go along how you have to have been bestowed upon them in knighting ceremony. Naturally, they were born to this amendment because they were something of a dueling nature or something else like that, or naturally of something out there from um, French or other situations over that, law enforcement, etc., etc. You see where the amendments come to. um, Interrogation, the press, everything else, and how they are naturally the greatest ones of the Second Amendment and everything. Too, they can just say, "I'm no longer with the Associated Press right now." And I'm going, there's not much difference between you and a Spanish interrogator. It's just going to beat someone until they get the answers of whatever they want. And then go, see, perfection. All is now well, and everybody accepts whatever's being done against everything out there. The Associated Press is nothing more than a random interrogational unit that I'm basically going to start looking at in a way over it. Just between myself, I don't really care if they're using a voice synthesizer or anything else. And it's like, we're not Catholic. We just don't care. We're Protestants, so we don't have an eye towards anything out there for it. And everybody's just supposed to come here, and it's like, you can do whatever's in Pinocchio. And we know you're a Protestant nation when there's so many English churches here all over the place. And it's like, there's not. And it's like, but you don't attend church and give us tithe money. That has nothing to do with the English church or anything. Oh, please, you've been to Harry Potter. It's how you give the Queen her money. And Captain D's is part of the greatest conspiracy over the fish and chips. I'm still trying to figure that one out. With McDonald's Filet-O-Fish. Because it's not served only on Fridays. Like Shoney's is. That's also the other conspiracy. And you just kind of sit back and look at it and go, I have an Associated Press license. I don't really care what you could say. You'll never convince me at this point in my life that you're anything else other than a foreign national subterfuge idiot that goes, do I not have powers to basically go past the Fourth Amendment? Because you go, there's no such word as interrogation. And there's been major reporters here. We've had a national football team. We've had national issues here that have said there's no such thing as interrogation in the Fourth Amendment. And as an Associated Press, I have the right to do anything I want to get the answers to my questions. And it's like, if you're really a person in the presidency, which I'm going, okay, so you have an Associated Press license. Basically, you've passed a super background check out to about 6 or 10 friend connection, whatever the heck it is, like in the Will Smith movie. 9 points of separation. My cousin loves that one and quotes from it all day long. And I'm going, yeah, you watch more movies than me, but you're the skinny one. And honestly, every single time you go out there, it's that there's nothing that's going to ever come to the president from you. Politicians are extremely background checked in needed areas that you're going to bring, let's call it drama. Drama sounds better than the BS word. Into the area, and therefore we can all say we're now talking Oak Ridge classified. How is the press and everything else something that only you have the right to? Have to have a journalism degree when there's no requirements of college education for anything in the Constitution, or even graduation of high school, attendance of school, or anything else, or certifications of what school should be in education, and how a region of the area is supposedly extremely stupid out there from any single area when it has no such thing as certification. And I go, well, then you have to look at the place where everyone says this as that, and you realize that the term blue neck really does epitomize you. This is one of the things where I just keep looking at it and going, you seem to be very, very bad or mean people. I'm not really sure what can be said about you. You're not nice people. I mean, the Associated Press license does not give you some sort of thing of where you go around and you are Rome's executioner and inquisitor and everything else out there with this. And most Associated Press people that graduate with a degree are fascist. You can say it's the local area I live in, but 15% were considered fascist. And it's just that we need to figure out a way how to get Mussolini, our person's fascism, to be looked at as a registered situation, a registered religion, and it's racist against you because it's the only one that's a religion that came from a race. And all of you all are just retarded because you don't realize you really did descend from us. And now and then there's some people that will sacrifice themselves politically and everything else for that purpose of getting rid of the people that are the worst people out there of our one worldwide race, because you all say you're not descended from us. It's an impossibility of it. And that pretty much is the whole, but we're all big one happy family from any of the people that I've ever met. And I mean, some of them are glorified, and I'm like, they're mostly just murderers in every way out there. Don't know what's happening. And just say, as soon as they don't know what's happening with their vast experience, they fear for their life because it's the fear of the unknown. Ooh, I got a military guy that would hack in all the time when I tried to get into the military and do that. And it's like, you wish you could just reach through his bug that he puts in his car, in the car, and fucks with you. But everybody else is like, Colin, it's not there. Like some sort of creepy thing out of the Twilight things out there. So I'll sit in the car and go, Colin, there's no one there. And then 2 or 3 of them in the back just start breaking up and start kicking the seats and be like, dude, Colin, you shouldn't have farted so much. It actually makes your seat jump. And people wonder why they go, homeless people are nicer than whatever it is with the salary. But I mean, everything will be done remotely, and everything will be done this because, you know, as Protestants, we just don't care. Dude, I don't care. We all descend from the Mother Church, and our Christ is a fat, beheaded man that's strung up by his feet upside down. And he's so fat that his arms can't even come down past his head. Anyway, I just kind of look at the Associated Press these days as probably something that will probably be the future Gestapo of everything here. It is absolutely ridiculous what the Associated Press thinks that it can do. And I don't care if they were hacking in last night. There's tons of, excuse me, celebrity lawsuits that randomly go through more than anything the Secret Service does with communications illegalities or anything else, back feeds or anything. That those images are supposed to be taken away and those people are supposed to be dealt with that pretend to be whoever it is with whatever it is. And that's just the truth. That's just the common facts of law in this country. And that's so that their image is only used to represent them in things that they would be represented over. I don't really care. It's like this. Here's another thing that because someone wanted to play with CB radio and experiment with CB television, like you can do FM television, microwave television, and everything else, that they wanted to say, we were at a research facility university and that we're going to do this. And I know that all the 1970s swamp gas ball lightning stuff that you could do, be like, I want to mess with that guy and make him think there's UFOs and see if I can get what medications he's on. And people bet on this like gambling on horses because they're geeks. And they're in school and in intellect, and it's the only thing that matters. And whenever they talk about turning a university into a small, worthless, burnout town, and all the burnout towns would be all the university towns, it really is, how much am I going to use technology to go out there and script these people who didn't need medications? And then the medications will mess with them. And it's like this. There's no such thing as people who don't need androgen. So, y'all know androgen. It means it's low testosterone people. If I see you out there, I know I just need to squirt some into your food and everything else because it's supposed to make your nuts grow. Because those people have a specialized disease that keeps them from ever really going through puberty or anything else. And it makes their balls grow. Their testicles, as well as their ovaries and their pituitary gland to work. Nobody wants to be with those because it's basically like killing your own lineage in the future. You all would fuss about that like you did back in the 1970s, early 1980s when they were doing it and shooting up cows with it. And said it was instant castration of the cows. Those people have a genetic abnormality. They go, see, we'll become 0.5%, then 5%, then all the percentage of your population because only we can breed. And then when oil goes away and there's no more oil, they can't make androgen. Now, the whole thing about interrogations and stuff is not a part of anything protected under the Fourth Amendment. Just like that's not protected under Fourth Amendment by saying that it's something of augmentation, controlling the population. The worker population needs to be dealt with in a certain way. Freedom of religion, freedom of the press for self-making your own body and everything else, like working out at a gym or something else. And freedom of the press is just sitting around making books and saying speech and being like, I'm the supreme speech god. And I can interrogate and everything else. And there's no such thing as police, and that's from the government. And as Associated Press, I'm separate from the government. They do remove the foreign national press. So are you not just like stupidly saying you're an espionage agent that has gotten something there to interrogate people for a foreign national government? I mean, this is really stupid with it all. And, I could be like saying, I've seen this, I've been within half a road to the person, I've watched them do this to a person who is within, just off camera here, closer than that door you see in the photo there. and they were in front of me. It wasn't behind me. I have full view of this situation, but no matter what, these people are going to go on and be something special. And when they get their communion from their religion, they can shrink down and become children again, like before whoever it is in the eyes of God. And I'm going, so the cherubim in the Palace of Versailles, even back then in elementary school, I didn't have to go and see it over in France. And people can save up their own money, do whatever it is they want to do, and be like everything's systemic. And I've never had anybody say systemic racism to me or anything else out there other than people who end it with, you don't know how much we hate red people also. And them being a $300,000 to $750,000 person in the 1980s on military police and the secret police of Tennessee. Because we all know that they have a secret police force for the government. That's not the Secret Service, that's beyond them. And they have the right to make equivalency and use any resource that the United States government does. So that includes making political connections around the world. There's something for your Associated Press. I mean, I guess it's just a foreign national hire, like you can hire the military for whatever it is. You know, like California says they can hire any person for stuff like the military, so I guess they're going to be hiring China or something else to go and guard their borders. There's a thing. Why don't you go and interrogate all of them and everything else? I mean, do you need a pound of flesh like in Clinton or something else? I mean, there is no professional behavior here. You're just trash. And honestly, I think that they killed you, shot you up with clone stuff, and they let a 5-year-old run your life. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with somebody going 70 some years old, look how sexy I am. Colin Dawson, let's try it this way. Don't like and subscribe. Give it a big thumbs down. Either way, there's an algorithm that starts. One of these little impromptu political minutes.